What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford. And Tyler, we learned something very productive yesterday. If you're going to lose to the worst Major League, or one of the worst Major League Baseball teams ever constructed, do it on the day that Taylor Swift gets engaged to Travis Kelce, because no one will care and no one will talk about it, because we are going to sit here and talk for 35 minutes about what their wedding could look like and what the eventual divorce album could sound like.
How dare you? This is true love. There's no divorce album. This is going to work. It's going to be the one celebrity marriage that happens. Did you see it was after the podcast, Chandler? Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's adorable. Did you see the picture with her hair that had the mic or the headphone still like pushed into it? You can see on her hair in the picture that it still has like the headphone in there. Adorable. Congrats to our very close personal friends, Taylor and Travis. Very happy for them. Two names that I get called often, Taylor and Travis. People, for whatever reason, hear Tyler and go like, well, that's not a real name. They probably meant Taylor or Travis. So I get that quite a bit. But congrats to them. Love is real. We did it. Everyone's happy. The Astros might be bad. But other than that, good day.
Someone brought up. There was an inundation of reactions and things yesterday, so I saw a lot of funny just tweets and comments. But somebody brought up, can you imagine the NDA that both the photographer and the florist had to sign for that? Because they knew, having to get all those flowers, having to get the photos done, the NDA that those people probably signed, and the amount of money that they got to keep that secret is probably more than either of us can fathom.
I saw 1,000 tweets. I sent you some of them. But one of my favorite, look at us merching it up. You got your coffee mug. I got my hat on. But my favorite tweet was that the prenup is going to be longer than any book that Travis Kelce has ever read, which cracked me up. But yes, fun day on the internet.
It is kind of funny that his Instagram handle is still Killa Trav.
I hope she changes hers to Killa Tay whenever they get married. That's her version of taking his name when they get married.
Taylor's version. Taylor's version of the Instagram name. Yeah, fun day on the internet yesterday.
Unless you're an Astros fan.
Yeah, not a fun day on the Astros internet from about 7:45 until 9, because you don't look. I think people that have listened to this thing for long enough understand that neither of us really come on here and overreact and get very hyperbolic. We're pretty level-headed, monotone. That's the worst loss of the year.
Yeah,
there's zero. I know I wrote this morning. I know they just had a 31 inning scoreless streak. I know they went to Detroit and got pantsed for 3 games. I know they got swept by the A's at home. You can't lose a Hunter Brown start against the Colorado Rockies at home on a day that Yordan Alvarez is coming back. And I think one of the
and Hello Kitty Day.
Hello Kitty night too.
You ruined that too.
Yeah, the amount of people that were lined up,
dude, it's
that
nuts
to get in, for what I presume was just a little giveaway bag that I don't know how expensive these things are, but these people were ravenous. They wanted their Hello Kitty merch very badly. Good on the Astros marketing department to do that during a game against the Colorado Rockies, because why else would anyone buy a ticket to come watch the Colorado Rockies, who are, by the way, before we get into the Astros, I have to get this off my chest. The Rockies are they're now 38-94, but during the game yesterday, they were 37-94. In the third inning of a 1-run game, they asked their leadoff hitter to squeeze bunt with 1 out. You are 37-94. You're swing the bat. Are you playing?
It worked. I don't know if you noticed.
No, it didn't.
Well, they won. The Astros forgot what base to throw to. Hunter Brown weaseled his way into a bunch of unearned runs. I hate the rule that if it's the third out of the inning, magically all of the other runs that you give up don't count. Get out of here. If it was the first out and then you got 2 more outs after that and then gave up a bunch, we don't go oh, those are unearned, because it was an error earlier in the inning. It's dumb rule.
My biggest pet peeve with run rule is if the pitcher commits the error,
Mm-hmm.
it should be an earned run.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no problem with last night. Like I get it. Like they turned that double play. It's probably a different game, but who can say? But if the pitcher commits the error, and this happens to Framber Valdez a lot, like Framber throws away a PFP, doesn't know what to do, and then the runs are unearned on his line. Like no, like the pitcher is the one that committed the error. Like he earned the ignominious distinction of being a bad fielder.
Ignominious.
He should get the earned run. That really is a big pet peeve of mine.
This would probably be a good time. I know a lot of people who listen to us. I've had people ask me, we've explained like OPS plus and stuff. This would probably be a good time to explain the stat FIP. Do you want to take a gander at that so people can understand kind of why people use that stat as well?
Yeah, so it's called fielding independent pitching. And in its basic definition, FIP basically measures a pitcher's effectiveness based only on things that a pitcher can control. So it focuses just on, strikeouts, walks, hit by pitches. It basically removes anything about balls in play. So
Mm-hmm.
if a pitcher has a high ERA and let's say a pitcher has a 4 ERA but a 2 FIP, you look at that and you're like, all right, that guy's probably getting unlucky. There's probably some poor batted ball luck behind him. He probably plays, probably has a bad defense behind him, things like that. On the other hand, if a pitcher has a very low ERA, like a 2 ERA and a 4 FIP, then you're probably like, oh, okay, well, like there's something curious there. Like the pitcher's probably getting a little lucky. So I think FIP's pretty instructive. I think it's instructive for relievers a lot,
Mm-hmm.
just because with ERA with relievers, like a reliever can come in and give up a 3-run homer and the like it's
Takes
a
them a month to get out of that.
right.
Yeah.
So like I think FIP is a very instructive in general, but I think especially for relievers. But
It's
yeah,
also heavily weighted. I believe they don't use it in arbitration, which is dumb, but I believe that it is pretty heavily looked at, especially for like free agent contracts, because FIP
mhm,
tends to be a little bit more predictive
right.
of what you're going to do in the future, because again, it's stuff in your control, because sometimes guys are on just bad fielding teams, and even if it's not errors that people are committing behind them, like sometimes they're just bad fielders. And then the Astros can look at a pitcher and say, well, this team has a really good defense, so we expect this pitcher to be X% better because their FIP is this, but their ERA is a little higher. Anyway, I thought that would be a good instructive moment, and mainly because I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about a Tuesday night loss to the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. We can talk about Yordan Alvarez. He was
Please.
back. Which was kind of my first point. The Astros have done this a couple times this season where, games that should have been like big celebratory moments. Like, the day they got Correa, they went to like the 3 games after the trade deadline at Fenway Park, they got absolutely worked by the Red Sox for 3 games. And it kind of lost all the luster of, hey, we just got Carlos Correa back. We got a jolt. This wasn't really in their control, but they came home for Carlos Correa's homecoming against the Red Sox. Christian Javier made his season debut. Bregman was back. It was like a playoff atmosphere. They won the game, but that was also the night that we looked up in the 8th inning and it's a 1-run game and Josh Hader's not warming up in the bullpen. And after the game, it came out that he had shoulder issues. So they've done this a couple times this year where they've had opportunities to like seize some momentum, to really like seize advantage of vibes, energy, aura, and just haven't done it. It's got to be pretty frustrating. It kind of demonstrates that Yordan Alvarez, while he is very good and while he is very much needed in this lineup, he's not going to fix everything. Certainly didn't last night. It didn't even look like the Rockies were trying to pitch to him. He drew 2 4-pitch walks, flew out to left field and grounded out to third base. So Not much to write home about with Yordan, not much to write home about really with any of the team, but we'll try to find some things to talk about right after this message from our friends at DraftKings.
The dog days of summer means MLB is fully heating up, and so is your shot to score big. Download the Pick 6 app for the easiest way to turn your baseball takes into actual cash. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. No gimmicks, no weird rules. And get this, all new Pick 6 customers will instantly get $50 in bonus picks on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So as we mentioned, Yordan Alvarez is back after a 100-game, 115-day absence on the injured list. The Astros went 56-44 in the 100 games that Yordan Alvarez did not play, which, given some of the rosters they ran out there, given some of the lineups they ran out there, it is a minor miracle that they went 56-44 in that time frame. But Alvarez is back. It was an interesting discussion with him before the game yesterday. He was asked whether this is going to be something that he will have to manage all season. And through an interpreter, he basically said, I can read the direct quote. "Right now, I'm here. I feel like that's a good signal, something good to show. It says a lot that I'm active tonight, and it just justifies everything I've been going through." Do you know what was absent from that answer, Tyler? No.
Yeah, that sounded a lot like when I'm tired and fussy with my wife and we're out to dinner with friends. And I'm like, right now I'm here. I'm active tonight. And that's all I can say about where we're at. Were you surprised that he played left field?
Yes, I was. Hunter Brown, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there tonight too, just given Framber Valdez and ground balls. Hunter Brown, I wouldn't call Hunter Brown a fly ball pitcher. He's a strikeout pitcher and with the sinker, he can get more weak contact, gets more stuff on the ground. But yeah, I was surprised first game back, he played left field. And I don't know what that means, for Jose Altuve going forward. Joe Espada was asked that before the game yesterday and basically just repeated the question back. He was like, yeah, Jose Altuve will play left field and second base and DH, and Yordan Alvarez will play left field and DH. Well, thank you, Joe. We knew that. He didn't get into how much they want to divvy out the playing time. I was surprised to see right off Alvarez play in the outfield, but I mean, he had one ball hit to him. And I mean, it's the same thing we talked about with Altuve in spring training. They are betting on the fact that these guys are not going to get much hit to them, and they're going to be able to shield them out there and not have that happen. So I will say this, and I want to caution before I read these stats. I'm going to caution that the Astros are not a team that uses, positional splits or like who's doing best at what position to inform their lineup construction. Yordan Alvarez hit much better as a left fielder in his last couple full seasons than he did at DH, and he DH'd most of the time. But Jose Altuve this year, he has taken 175 plate appearances at second base, 188 plate appearances in left field, and 185 plate appearances as a designated hitter. So it's a pretty even sample size. He has an 837 OPS while DHing, a 765 OPS at second base, and a 759 OPS in left field. So that's not nothing. Like, there is some validity to the fact that he has taken to DHing, that he seems to enjoy it, and the production bears that out, that he has found a way to keep himself. A lot of guys, when they talk about the struggles of DHing, and Josh has talked about this, it gets boring. Like, you don't have anything to keep you engaged. Maybe between your at bats, you're sitting on the bench. You don't know how much to go down and hit. You don't know how much to go down and swing. And for Jose Altuve, a guy that before this season played defense like every game, it's an adjustment. But the stats bear out that he's doing well at designated hitter. I believe he has now started 13 of the Astros' past 17 games at DH. I don't think this is a situation where he's going to continue that sort of run, but the fact that they even played Yordan in left field his first game back after a 3.5-month absence shows that they're not afraid to put him out there.
Yeah, I mean, his hand is hurting. It's not his legs. So, I can see how they would say, well, that's not going to be the issue. But yeah, it was just interesting when I saw the lineup come out. I was surprised that he was out there. But I mean, we'll also probably find out in November that Altuve has some nagging injury, and that's why those types of things come out too, where it's like, oh, this guy was dealing with. I mean, everybody's dealing with something
Right.
at this point, but you could certainly see that where you've got your old man out there. It's like, well, let's try not to put him in the field as much as possible, and Yordan's back, so might as well.
I really can't sit here. I'm not going to sit here and dissect 4 at-bats against the worst pitching staff in Major League Baseball from Yordan Alvarez. 2 of the at-bats, it looked like they wanted nothing to do with him because none of the pitches were close. Christian Walker in both instances came up after Yordan and did not come through, which is, I mean, again, we've talked about, Alvarez's mere presence is going to help, right? Like, he can, even if he's still managing some discomfort, even if he's not 100%, you saw last night, like, the Rockies wanted nothing to do with him, and he just missed 3.5 months. And, he's still working his way back into being in major league shape. But it does put the onus on everyone around him to step up if they're going to pitch around him, if they're going to, not give him much to hit. Christian Walker, who's been very, very good lately, who has been good for the last 2.5 months, last night just didn't come through. And, you saw that a couple times. They stranded 11 base runners last night. It, again, reignited some dumb takes about approach and hitting coaches. And even though Jose Altuve hit an absolute missile that got run down in the gap with the bases loaded in the second inning, that's apparently on the hitting coaches that they can't, that Altuve just can't, once he hits the ball, he should be able to take flight, touch the ball and like guide it to the warning track grass where it drops.
Yeah, they should coach him to hit it where they ain't.
Yes.
I try doing that.
They should draw up the hit it over the head play. They should draw that up.
It's weird that Christian Walker's bad at home, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Astros are bad at home. They've lost like 16 of their last 20 games at home and have a minus 62 run differential. And
he's hitting 217 with 6 home runs at home and 250 with 13 home runs away, which is just interesting.
Well, I mean, of those 13 home runs away, he hit 3 in a row at Camden Yards, and then he went to Dodger Stadium where he hits home runs every at bat and hits. So like that's 6 right there that he hit in Dodger Stadium and Camden Yards. But I mean, it still counts.
They weren't at home. It's
right, it
there's a short porch in left field. It's interesting that he doesn't seem to do well at home. Of course, that's all random.
Yeah,
the Astros have years where they're unbelievable at home, and it's like they can't be beaten at home, and then the next year they're terrible. Like it's not really predictive of anything. But it is interesting. It does feel like maybe Christian Walker just really likes the gray uniforms, and he feels more powerful in them because he certainly seems like a different player on the road.
You alluded to it right there, and I'm gonna formally put this into the air and the lexicon. Can we stop every time the Astros sign a free agent hitter? Can we stop talking about the Crawford boxes? Can we stop talking about the short porch in left field as if it's going to be some enticing? Because I've heard that about Christian Walker. I've heard it about Jose Abreu. I've heard. Well, it did help for Isaac Paredes.
Yeah.
I mean, but Isaac Paredes is like one of one in terms of
he's the freak.
and how much he pulls the ball. Like there is only one Isaac Paredes profile in big league baseball about the way he pulls the ball. But I'm over the I am over the using the Crawford boxes as some explanation as to why this hitter is going to come to the Astros and immediately pay dividends, because outside of Isaac Paredes, that has not manifested itself.
No, I mean, I said that when they signed Paredes and everybody's talking about that. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you say this with everyone. That can't be true of everyone. So yeah, I agree. It's not that big of a deal. Hitters hit it, and who knows where it goes. And honestly, I think sometimes the Crawford boxes hurt right-handed hitters because there's so little outfield room in the left center area that people who hit line drives to the pull side, there's a lot of balls that when you watch the Astros on the road, I'm almost like preconditioned to assume it's going to be an out, because normally when they hit it on that trajectory in Houston, it ends up being an out because the left fielder's playing 100 feet off the line, like standing next to the Crawford boxes, and can make a catch. But when you're in an outfield that has a ton of room, those things suddenly get down. So yeah, I mean, I think it's not that big of a deal. We need to stop talking about that.
It was a big deal to Hunter Brown last night, who gave up a routine fly ball to Hunter Goodman that fell into the Crawford boxes for a consequential 2-run homer after Mauricio Dubon and Jeremy Pena botched a double play behind him. In what can be described as good for the Astros' future, 4 of the 6 runs on Hunter Brown's line were unearned.
Not true. Not real.
Which means his ERA remains 2.37, which is only trails Tarek Skubal for the major league lead, which means Hunter Brown is still solidly in the top 3 of Cy Young consideration, which means if he finishes in the top 3 of the American League Cy Young, where the Astros get another draft pick. And
Cam Smith still has time to win MVP. He's going to go on a heater.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we will talk about the roster moves that got Yordan Alvarez back on the roster right after another message from our friends at Foul Territory.
Kratz, if you need to pay rent for your apartment and you're not getting anything for it, then you probably haven't heard of Built.
You have to pay rent every single month. Why not get some points that you can redeem for other things that are a lot more fun than paying rent, like flights, hotels, Uber rides?
That's right. And it doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine at your favorite local restaurants, and you can earn additional points with VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. And you can also enjoy exclusive experiences that are just for Built members. They announce them every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you, and you can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know that FT sent you. Get after it.
All right. So there was some discussion as to what the corresponding move to get Yordan Alvarez back on the roster would be. There was some thought that Jacob Melton could go down to AAA, but the Astros need center fielders right now because Chas McCormick has been nothing, and Jacob Melton at least does hit left-handed. He's a very good defensive outfielder. Singled last night. There was some thought it could be Melton because he had been optioned already this season.
Can you ask him about the mustache? What happened there?
I'll find out today and report back. I need a story idea for today anyway. I always kind of thought it would be Bryce Matthews just because the Astros haven't. I mean, he came up and didn't play.
Hand up. I did not know he was on the roster. When I saw that move, I did not know that he was on the Astros roster.
Yeah. The whole, that's the thing. Like when you're trying to figure out roster moves, it's pretty, the obvious way to do it is look and see who is not playing. Like that the actions speak louder than your thoughts of service time manipulation. What like see who they are not using. See who is like the odd man out on the roster, who is not playing. That is probably who is going down. And it was Bryce Matthews, but there was at least some thought, and I wrote about this while we were in Baltimore, about whether it would have made sense to send Cam Smith back to AAA, or not back to AAA for the first time, because he's never played in AAA, for no other reason than he's been, for lack of, I don't mean to be so blunt, but it's true. He's been the worst player in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. He has a 389 OPS. Ramon Urias pinch hit for Jesus Sanchez against a left-handed reliever last night. If nothing else demonstrates to you where Cam Smith is on the hierarchy, that should. If it didn't, then go back to Baltimore, where Joe Espada let Jesus Sanchez face a left-handed reliever late in a close game. And then the day before, he chose Chas McCormick over Cam Smith to pinch hit against a left-handed reliever late in the game. It's, as we've talked about, it's not going well for Cam. Wrote about it in Baltimore, about how well he's handling it from a mental standpoint. Talked to Dave Clark, who's probably the closest coach to Cam on the team. Talked to Carlos Correa, who is kind of helping him along in terms of, I think those two can commiserate pretty well. Correa obviously never struggled to this extent, but Correa came up as a 20-year-old with a ton of hype around him, and Cam came up as a 22-year-old with a ton of hype around him. Now, obviously, one had more immediate success than the other, but there's still there's only a few people that have been in that situation that can, really have any parallels. So sounds like Correa has kind of helped him kind of stay even keeled. But the thing that everyone keeps talking about with Cam is that he is handling it so well beyond his years maturity wise. And I think we talked about this with Josh. If we were to, I think it'd be a different conversation if he was spiking his helmet, if he was breaking a bat over his leg, or if he was blowing up a water cooler in the dugout and just making a scene, or if, the defensive lapses became very pronounced. I'm not going to sit here and say he can't help the 2025 Astros, but I do think Cam has some attributes, and Cam has some things he can do that can help this team through the last 30 games. Will he play a lot? I do not believe so. I think certainly his days as an everyday player have long been over, but I think now you're looking at a situation where there's a real reality where he may only play once or twice a week. And if they're going to face, and the times he will play more than that will be on the rare occasion when they have when they face a run of left-handed starting pitchers. That doesn't usually happen just because there's more righties than lefties. But I wasn't surprised that they're going to keep him on the roster. I know people were trying to calculate the number of days, and he hasn't reached a full year of Major League service time yet, which means if they send him down and he stays down for more than 20 days, they would keep him under club control, and they would get an extra year of control on him. I understand that, but if they were worried about that, if they were worried about the service time aspect of it, if they really wanted to, get that extra year, they would have sent him down already. The time to do this, if they were really interested in sending him down, the time to do this was a month ago. But a month ago, Tyler, he was still hanging in there. It didn't look great, but it hadn't snowballed like this. And he was still, the at-bats were competitive. And even now, he doesn't look, it's not one of these situations where he's going up there swinging at stuff that is just wildly out of the zone and looks uncompetitive. The at-bats look fine. The results just are not there. And I think it's become one of these things where he's in between approaches. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his head, and it's tough to make that adjustment late in the season.
Yeah, and I mean, look, at this point, like you said, if he's not going to be playing a ton. That's very obvious. But again, the rosters expand in 4 days anyway, and you would be able to have him back up. Is that still true? I don't remember.
What?
What do they do with the rosters in September now? You can't do the thing where you have like 40 guys on
No,
the team,
so
right?
it's one. You can expand to 28. So it's one
Okay.
pitcher. It's one pitcher and one position player.
Okay.
Speaking of, how about the excellent roster manipulation to get AJ Blueball back on the roster before his 15 days were up?
Boy, if only there had been some guy rambling alone on a podcast talking about blue ball. Probably will come back up because some fringe roster guy is going to wake up with an injury that he didn't know about. Sorry to John Rooney and his bark and elbow. I'm sure that's going to be tough.
Do you want to know? John Rooney gets big league service time.
Yeah, he does.
Big league money. That dude's got it made. Good for John Rooney.
Yep.
Seriously, I mean, look, no offense to John Rooney. We did not ask about his injury. I presume he may have felt something, but the moral of the story is they got a very effective long reliever back on the roster before his 15 days were up.
Yep,
for them.
that'll happen. But yeah, I mean, going back to Cam Smith, look, at this point, he's had flashes of being a good player. He's very young. He has not played anywhere near this long of a season in his career. So even if the rest of the year he just sits on the bench and sees what it looks like to go through the playoffs and, you know, all of that while not actively participating, but still just kind of being there. And then you start next year with just a clean slate. I don't see any of this carrying over where it's like a concern going into next year of it's just like, look, man, just get through this year. There's other people that the Astros are relying on. It's not like the team is built around Cam Smith, right? So it's just, look, get through this year, keep your head on your shoulders, and learn from what's going on. Learn how to make those adjustments at the big league level, which is really difficult to do, and start next year fresh. I do just want to point out, you mentioned Carlos Correa. Does everyone understand how incredibly good he was his first 3 years? He put up 18.4 WAR by the time he was 22 years old. When they won the World Series in 2017 and he got some MVP votes and he had a 6.7 WAR in 109 games. He was 22 years old. He was Cam Smith's age at that time. Carlos Correa was unbelievable when he came up.
I mean, he's still pretty good.
He's still really good. I sure do like watching him play baseball for the Astros. I don't want to see him in another uniform again. I don't know if that's a hot take, but they need to figure that out. Let's not do that again. I like seeing him play for the Astros.
You brought up WAR. Carlos Correa had 0.2 WAR. According to Baseball Reference, he had 0.2 WAR in 364 plate appearances with the Twins this year. He has 1.2 WAR in the 96 plate appearances he's taken with the Astros.
He's hitting 349 with a 151 OPS plus. That's the highest that it's been basically since he left the Astros. He's looked really good. He's so good at third base. It's crazy. I mean, we knew that, right? Like we talked about it the whole time. Like, of course he's going to be really good at third base. But man, is he good at third base. He just looks so comfortable over there. His arm is so much fun to watch. And again, we've talked about the intangible stuff, but like you can see it on the field that Carlos Correa is just the leader immediately. Like he just stepped in and was like, all right, this is my team again. Get out of the way. I love the full infield mound meetings. Those are so fun. Keep him on the Astros. Let's not play around anymore. This dude is an Astro. Stop letting him play elsewhere.
I mean, where do you think he's going? Like you're acting like they're gonna like trade him tomorrow.
Well,
like,
he's 30. He's got some time after this contract. Lock him up, get something. I mean, not right now, but I don't want in 2 years to go through a free agency thing again. This guy needs to be an Astro until he retires.
Do you want to guess who his agent is?
I have a pretty good idea. And also, guess who Jose Altuve's agent is, dummy. We'll get it figured out if he wants to be an Astro, just like Altuve wanted to be an Astro, they'll figure it out. Jim Crane has money. Figure it out. I don't want to see this guy in any other uniform for the rest of his career. He is an Astro. That is clear, but and it's clear that that's how he feels too. When at the trade deadline, it's like, I'm only going to one team. If he didn't feel that way, he would have been open to going to other. Like, he also sees himself as an Astro. Make it happen.
Man, good for him for getting out of Minnesota. That thing seems like a complete disaster. The owners pulled the team off the market. I mean, sometimes and we said this about Kikuchi a little bit last year too, when everyone was losing their mind when they traded for him. Like, sometimes like a change, all it is like if you walk into a competent like championship contending clubhouse, just like a change of scenery can do so much. Like, if you just get out of a dysfunctional place and go into a less dysfunctional place like Houston that tries to win every year, that puts the sort of aggression and the resources in place to win every year, that alone can just kind of change. Like, look, they had to do some stuff with Kikuchi's usage and things like that, pitch usage, but and I'm not saying Carlos Correa has changed the way he plays since he came to Houston, but again, there is something about peace of mind. There's something about being in a place where you feel like you belong. And
I think it's that. Sorry to cut you off, Chandler, but
Yeah.
I think it's that. But also, we talk about like the clutch gene or whatever. There are some guys who, whether it's true or not, seem to fold in big situations and really struggle whenever the pressure is on them. And then there are some guys like Carlos Correa where if he had been hitting 200 and then the playoffs started, I still would believe there's like an extra gear in him whenever the season's on. That, like, there's something in Correa that like pumps himself up for these bigger moments. And when you're in Minnesota and your team is struggling and there's not a lot of fans in the stadium and nobody's taking it as seriously as like you want to take it. I don't know if that's true. I'm projecting that. I'm sure everyone on the Twins wanted to win just as badly as everyone on the Astros wants to win. But I'm saying I do think there is something in Correa that when he is in this like leadership position, like, everybody get behind me, we're going out and winning. Like, I do think that affects his performance on the field. And you can see it. His OPS is 200 points higher as an Astro than it was in Minnesota. Like, that is a not insignificant difference. And I think there is something to be said about needing to be in an environment like a pressure cooker. Like, I think he needs that in him in order to perform.
Yeah, I mean, that's not, I mean, this is going to be a dumb statement, but it's not teachable. Like, you can't, like it's just, some dudes just have it.
And he did from the moment he got here. Again, I know you weren't around at the time. Of course, I got to know him. No is a strong word. He was already a superstar in Corpus Christi when he was there.
You worked for the Hooks?
Yeah, I don't know if I brought that up.
Okay.
It's my only relevant piece of work history, Chandler. That's all I got, okay? But when he came up in 2015, even as a 20-year-old, it was like, uh-oh, like this guy has it, and you're right, it's not coachable. And again, that's why I'm going to say, you don't find Carlos Correas everywhere. There are people that put up similar numbers to Correa, but there are not people that have intangibles like Carlos Correa, and you don't just find those guys. And that's why I'm saying he needs to retire at 42 years old in Houston. This is a guy that needs to be with the Astros for the rest of his career.
I mean, he said it before. He said he wanted to be an Astro for life.
Well, do it this time. You messed up once. Don't let that happen again. Make it happen.
Okay.
Pass that along.
From your lips to Jim Crane's ears. I'm sure.
Could you ask Yordan how his feet feel after being in cleats for 3 hours? Ask him if he's adjusted to that.
I'll right after I pass this along to Jim Crane, I'll get to Yordan.
Ask about the mustache from Melton. I need all my questions answered.
You'll read this all in the Athletic
Uh-huh.
on Thursday morning.
Tyler's mailbag of
yep.
terrible questions.
Before you do, go shop at crushcityterritoryshop.com. Tyler is wearing the hat. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm drinking out of my Crush City Territory coffee mug. If you're watching on YouTube, you can scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the merch site where we've got beanies, we've got hats, we've got hoodies, we've got t-shirts, we've got notebooks, we've got water bottles, we've got coffee mugs. That is crushcityterritoryshop.com. Guys, if you buy merch, it makes it more likely that we'll be able to do some giveaways, be able to go do some live remotes. Maybe when the season's over, bring some stuff so you guys can shop in person. We'd love to do that, but we need you guys to buy them first. So please head to crushcityterritoryshop.com and shop till your heart's content. If you liked this podcast, then you're in luck. We'll have another one on Friday with another Astros prospect to talk about his time in pro ball, kind of how his development's going and where he sees himself in the future. It is a position player this time. We had a pitcher on last time. It'll be a position player, a recent addition to the Astros organization, but it'll be fun. We'll be back on Friday for that. Until then, you can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. As always, please rate and review us on Apple. Please like the episodes on Spotify. Leave comments on the Spotify episodes. You can subscribe to the Crush City Territory YouTube channel so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Liking the videos on YouTube helps a lot too. So please, if you feel so inclined, you can do that. As I said, we will be back on Friday with an interview with an Astros prospect. We will also recap the final 2 games of this riveting series with the Colorado Rockies, who, Tyler, before you saw their lineup yesterday, could you have named any member of the Colorado Rockies?
I did know Moniak was on the team.
He's a good player, man.
Angels legend, Phillies legend. I forget who.
I mean, I love that. Like, I'm acting like, oh, you know, I love that I'm acting like I've found some like diamond in the rough. He went 1-1.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I knew Dinger. Big fan of Dinger. But yeah, that's about it. Mariners lost, so it's all a wash. Who cares?
Jerry DiPoto, man, what a team. So maybe that'll continue. Who knows? The Astros should probably take care of their own business, though, and be one of the worst Major League Baseball teams ever constructed. So we will talk about whether they do that when we see you again on Friday. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's a love story, baby. Just say bye.